Here at Brazen Reserve with Kevin Scharpf, this is a great experience. I really love this because of being able to try a lot of different things. This is kind of a condensed version. We're only going to be looking at 3 dishes, but how many courses do you usually serve?
Yeah, so we typically offer anywhere from 6 to 8, and we'll even go up to 10 or 12 depending on what you desire. But 6 or 8 courses is kind of the curated, what we offer, what we're accustomed to, but we'd love to go even further if that's what the customer requests.
And how long would you say like the average Brazen Reserve experience would be?
Yeah, I would say typically between 2 and 3 hours. If you choose a 6-course tasting menu, you're going to be closer to the 2-hour range.
Sure.
8-course, you're going to be closer to the 3. The major difference between a 6 and an 8, portion sizes do shrink a little bit. You normally get an extra dessert course, which that gets a lot of people excited. Yeah, really, it's about pacing the night depending on like how it's going too. If a group's really enjoying themselves, that's on us to kind of to know and sense, and we got to be able to kind of adapt.
Yeah, I mean, especially if whether it's a group of 6 people or a group of 12. That's going to make a difference as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I wish we had 2.5 hours to show absolutely everything because everything's been fantastic. But I'm ready for the next course. What are you going to be working with?
Yeah, I think for the next course, I want to show you our pasta course.
Okay.
Every menu will always have a pasta. I would say that if there's something that I don't really necessarily say I have a specialty, but pasta is something that I've grown fond of over the years and I absolutely love to do. This room allows us to get a little fancier with them, a little bit more hand-formed, the raviolis.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is give you a pasta that I feel like just truly speaks to kind of the area that we're in, just simple but really, really good flavors, and should just put a smile on your face.
Sure, and that sounds kind of the Brazen way, isn't it? I mean, you really reflect the Midwest region really well here. Yeah,
we try to embrace, really just not only our surroundings, but I don't love the word demographic, but our guests. Like, you gotta be in tune. You gotta know what makes them happy.
Right.
Takes time. So this pasta, we're gonna have a goat cheese ravioli. Probably one of my favorite combinations of flavors is sherry vinegar with brown butter. Then we'll have a little bit of butternut squash, some kale. It's just a really beautiful dish. It's very simple, but sometimes when you do simple really well, it can surpass a lot of things that are complicated. So,
oh, wow. All right.
I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna get the pasta dropped. We have some hand-formed raviolis. Really proud of our pasta program. All of our pasta is either extruded in-house or the dough for any kind of stuffed pasta is all made in-house and hand-formed, which is, I don't know. We've learned to not think of it as that much of a big deal.
Sure.
But in the grand scheme, things aren't necessarily in the pasta world as fresh as what most people might be used to.
Well, and it's time. I mean, hand-forming ravioli, that's a time-consuming thing.
Very time-consuming. We have staff dedicated just to extruding the pasta, portioning, making doughs, hand-forming. It's got its own kind of unit, if you will. So it's it's pretty significant.
Yeah. All right. What else you got there?
So I have brown butter already in the pan.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do while the noodles are cooking, now I'm going to kind of create my sauce. I don't want to just give you straight butter. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to balance the sauce with the nuttiness of the brown butter. I'm going to use the acid. We've made a sherry vinegar gastrique, which is pretty much the vinegar and sugar with a slight reduction.
Okay.
So that's going to bring a little sweetness. That's going to bring the acid. And then we're going to take a little bit of that pasta water that's picking up some of the starch from the noodles, and that'll kind of help bring it all together. So I have the brown butter. I'm going to play with a little bit of the sherry gastrique. Put that in there. I'm going to grab one of my spoons. While the noodles are still cooking, I'm just going to borrow some of its water.
Okay. So Brazen, are you on your 10th year? Is that correct?
Brazen is on year 10. We celebrated it February 10th.
Oh wow! So 10 years of Brazen. Reflect a little bit about that. You know, how has that journey been?
You know, it's one that I'm probably humbled most by just our team, the people that we still have with us. We have four team members that have been with us for all 10 years.
Wow.
And they've all kind of gone on to help us grow. So we have one at Otto's, we have one in Brazen, we have one on the Bird's food truck, and then Stephanie is our GM of everything.
Okay.
So it's pretty special to know that you know, we've been able to kind of do this together almost from day one.
Sure. Yeah, and you know, Brazen Reserve isn't the only extension of what you do. Yeah, certainly we covered Otto's place last year in Galena, Illinois. We haven't done Birds yet, but we haven't done a food truck episode either.
But look into it.
I might
look into it.
Maybe coming up sooner than we think. Who knows? So then, what do you got there? Is that
I have my squash, some kale, all in with my brown butter, sherry vinegar, a little bit of the pasta water, just enough to warm it up.
okay? And were those blanched as well?
Everything was pre-blanched. Yeah,
Everything, and that saves a lot of time during service.
correct. Oftentimes when you go into a restaurant like this, more work happens during the day than what's really happening during service.
Yeah.
So it's about bringing things back up to temp and finishing and plating is really where a lot of that comes in.
Right, being able to you're being prepared.
Correct.
Because
Yep.
otherwise, yeah, I'm sure your ticket times would go insane. Yeah, I mean, Brazen Reserve, it's really an extension of Brazen itself, Brazen Open Kitchen.
It is, you know, and I think by just by the nature of it growing out of the experience of Brazen in itself, you know, I would say Brazen being the tree and Reserve is just the branch, right?
Sure.
Like we've just kind of, you know, grown from what we learned over there through that same clientele, through that same guest, and so. And literally, quite literally, we're attached to the back end of it. So one could definitely say we're very much a part of Brazen. All right, so here we have our pasta in here. So I'm going to start with the noodles. Presentation side up. You can kind of tell when you make a ravioli what side is like the flat side that it sat on, and then what side kind of has that nice shape, the dome shape.
And really, the level of care that you guys are doing, making fresh pasta, making sure that we're using a lot of locally sourced vegetables, those are all things that your customers really appreciate.
I would like to think so, and I think it's attention to detail. I think we live in a time where I would argue that more people than ever really care about where anything kind of comes from and what goes into it. And that could be clothing to your, you know, vehicles to really anything. So I'm here for it. I'm glad that, you know, chefs are getting more of an opportunity to be appreciated, maybe for some of those things that for a long time we might have overlooked or not thought as much about. And so it goes a long way. The more it's kind of like this fun push and pull, the more the customers appreciate and talk about it, the more it pushes, you know, the chefs to want to go further and
you want to take it as high as the level.
We all just grow together.
That's great.
I think just like any pasta, we want to finish it with just
You want to finish it with
a little bit of cheese.
a little bit of cheese. Why not? That's the way it should be. All right.
Ravioli brown butter.
That first bite of goat cheese kind of oozing out of the ravioli is so good. And the butter sauce on here is fantastic. And like I said, this is just a small offering of what the full experience is.
Yeah, it's really fun. A pasta dish like this, you know, it might seem simple at first, but the idea of the ravioli and how it's stuffed and stuffed with, then with the kind of sauce that it's with, and how all that works when you're eating it, are the details that we care about and that we're thinking about on the back end. And in this room, it's kind of fun to be able to describe that and talk about that and help the customer through that experience.
Right.
So,
Well, this tastes absolutely fantastic. Everything's been wonderful. And I really appreciate you taking the time to build this kind of experience right here in Dubuque.
you bet. Love having you. Thanks so much.
Thanks again.